Hey, Motorman here. Listen, you got to get over the fear of leaning your motorcycle or else. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you don't get over that fear, you're going to get seriously hurt or maybe killed. That's something, of course, we don't want. But a motorcycle turns by leaning. I know so many of you are afraid to lean your motorcycles, especially at low speeds where it's much more difficult than at high speeds. Now at high speeds, if you're going 40 or 50 miles an hour and you're coming around a bend or a winding road, it's fairly easy. Most people lean their motorcycles there. They usually don't lean them near enough, and if it's a decreasing radius turn, they'll panic and ride right off the road because they're looking in the wrong place. Instead of looking through the curve, they're looking at the guardrail or the oncoming car. But we're going to talk about leaning the bike at low speeds right now, and I'm going to show you the easy way to get over that fear. This isn't brain surgery. We're simply marked out an area, and you could use whatever size you want. I think we marked this out somewhere around 32 or 34 feet, so we got a giant 34-foot circle. You could make yours 40 feet, whatever you care, whatever makes you feel comfortable, because you want to do this, get over that fear a little bit at a time. And then we've got another circle about the same size, and we're going to run a giant figure eight. That way you'll be able to lean in both directions and get over that fear. And keep in mind, you can do this on a bicycle. If your fear level is so high that you're afraid to lean your bike at all when you're under 20 or 30 miles an hour, try it first on a bicycle, then a little bit at a time on your motorcycle. Big circles, really big, and smaller. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, and you're going to see this from my point of view, because I'm going to use the helmet cam, and you'll also see it from above and ground level. So I'm looking at only the green cones. That means my head is turning the entire time. I never look at the other cones. I look just at the green. As soon as I get close to this green one, I look at the next one, then the next one. I'm probably 8 feet, 10 feet from the cone before I turn my head and look for the next one, but my head is turned the entire time. Speed right now is 8 miles an hour. Circle this big, which is probably around 32 feet. I can get up pretty fast, but I'm in the friction zone, a little pressure on the rear brake, and I got my head and eyes turned the entire time. It's important to do this in both directions. So now we'll pull into the, go to the right. Green. I see the next green. Now once you start to get over that fear of leaning the bike to the right and to the left, let's get over the fear of transitioning quickly from left to right. And we'll do that by making this giant figure eight. Again, my head is turned. I'm looking only for the green. I'm shifting my weight to the high side. The bike leans under me. I don't lean with the bike at low speeds. Speed again is, it's right at 8 miles an hour. If you want to lean further, got to pick up your speed. So now we're going to do 10 miles an hour. I'm trying to use all the space I have. It's difficult because I like to make them a lot tighter. But remember too, these circles are somewhere around 30 feet. Doesn't have to be exact. But if you're not comfortable with it, make them 40 feet, whatever you feel like. The idea is to get over the fear of leaning it, and also remember, try it on a bicycle. Now if I want to really tighten it up and lean the motorcycle, I can do that. As you get over that fear, I would hope you do. Try to tighten these up. This bike will do 2 18-foot circles. And the tighter you make the figure eight, the lower your speed is going to be. So in a 18 by 36 figure eight, the speed the whole time is going to be around 8 miles an hour. When you hear those pegs start to scrape, yeah, you know you're leaning that motorcycle. Before you do this though, make sure you're good at the slow race. You got to get good at that clutch throttle and a little bit of pressure on the rear brake. It's as simple as that, folks. Let's not make this out to be more than it is. This is what happens if you don't lean your motorcycle. If you try to keep this motorcycle straight up and make turns, it's extremely difficult. You're fighting the motorcycle. With the bike straight up, you'll find yourself looking at the cones and you look at them, you're going to hit them. It happens every time. I see it in my class every Sunday. Now keep in mind too that you don't even have to set up cones if you don't want it to learn to lean the motorcycle. You could start turning big circles, just like you see here, in a big empty parking lot. Do giant figure eights. The idea is to get that motorcycle leaning. Try to keep your speed at around 8 to 10 miles per hour. At 5 or below, chances of the bike falling are quite good. That's because there's more force pulling you to the ground when you're below 5 miles an hour than there is force pulling you forward. So simply get your speed up here. I'm probably doing 10 or 12 miles per hour. But whatever it takes to get you over that fear of leaning the motorcycle, that's what you need to do. And the only way to do that is to practice. Just find a big parking lot and start turning big circles or big figure eights. Stay in the friction zone the entire time. Little pressure on the rear brake, and make sure that you're turning your head. Since there's no straight part to a circle, your head should never be looking straight when performing a circle. And here in the figure eight, you can see I'm crossing over right in the middle and transitioning quickly from a left lean to a right lean. I'm not fighting the motorcycle. I'm doing what the bike was designed to do. You must keep power to the rear wheel. If you don't, you pull in the clutch, down goes the motorcycle, as you see here. And remember, your speed needs to be above 5 miles an hour. If you happen to put a foot down, I guarantee you it's because you're below 5 miles an hour. And if you got to put a foot down, get it up quickly so it doesn't get caught under the bag or the muffler. Now watch this rider again. He puts his foot down. He's going too slow, trying to keep that bike as straight up as possible. Fighting the design of the motorcycle. The motorcycle wants to lean when it turns, but in order to do that, you got to have a little bit of speed. As long as you're above 5 miles an hour, you're safe. Anything below that, and if you look at the cones directly in front of the motorcycle, you're going to hit them. Now let's watch this rider. Comes in, speed's pretty good. He's above 5 miles an hour.
Look for the green.
Cut that circle green just a little bit short.
Back over here. Back here. Keep that power going.
Now he's trying to keep that bike straight up once again. Cut himself short. And for unknown reasons, he pulls in the clutch. The bike stops and down it goes. That's gravity, folks. Now, this rider's speed is very good. Doing well. And then he looks at the thing he doesn't want to hit, pulls in the clutch, and down goes the bike. So what have we learned from those mishaps you just watched? We learned to keep power going to the rear wheel and keep your speed up. Like I said, if you're at 5 or below, there's a chance the bike could tip over because you've got no momentum pulling you forward. Keep that speed up. Anything above 5 miles an hour and you're good. With these big circles like this, you can get up as high as 10, depending on what kind of bike you've got, even 15 miles an hour, say on a sport bike. And this also helps define your bike's lean limits, because as you get better and better and pick up your speed and you stay in that friction zone, little pressure on the rear brake, you turn your head and eyes, and before you know it, you'll be leaning the bike to its limits. When you hear that scraping sound, it says you've reached the limit of the bike's lean angle. Don't go any further. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something by it, and get out there and practice. And please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and click that notification bell so every time I come out with a new video, you'll see it right away. Till next time.